Hello, my name is John Hanson, and today we're going to be talking about public safety after police reform in Louisville, Kentucky. The public gaze has been focused on the criminal justice system for a couple of years now. In 2020, after the death of Breonna Taylor and George Floyd, the public cried out asking for police reform, new leadership, and new policies. In this research, we are going to be looking at Louisville, Kentucky, because there's a clear before and after of this implementation of police reform. What is this research about? This presentation focuses on the homicide rate within Louisville, Kentucky before and after the police reform in 2021. We're going to ask, what increases public safety, proactive policing or community policing? We're also going to ask, did the public safety improve for African Americans under these reforms? And finally, this presentation does not evaluate whether or not African Americans were individually safer with law enforcement after the reforms. This examines the total public safety of the city through the new policing practice implemented. So what happened to make the reforms occur in Louisville? The turning point was the death of Breonna Taylor in Louisville when the Louisville Metro Police Department shot and killed her in her apartment. The federal government, the state government, and the Louisville City Council cracked down on the Louisville Metro Police Department, implementing new leadership and new policies. So we're going to look at the pre-Breonna Taylor era. This era was marked by proactive policing strategies, plainclothes narcotic units, and targeted law enforcement at specific individuals and for repeat offenders. This was the traditional law enforcement practice at the time. They were aggressive, they were responsible, and their job was to find crime, investigate it, and give it off to the DA to charge. And we're going to look at their homicide numbers for this era. So in this era, the homicide victims reported by Louisville PD to the FBI's Uniform Crime Report, there were 116 African Americans killed, 145 white Americans killed, 3 unknown Americans, 2 Asian Americans, and 1 American Indian or Alaska Native killed in this time period. Now we're going to compare these to the after Breonna Taylor's death to see whether or not these practices were effective in increasing public safety. But firstly, how did Breonna Taylor die? Breonna Taylor was a EMT that worked for the Louisville Fire Department, and she was at her apartment with her boyfriend when the police department served a no-knock warrant on her apartment, and her boyfriend, believing that her apartment was being broken into, her boyfriend proceeded to shoot, and the police returned fire, striking and killing Breonna Taylor. And to learn more about this, we're going to watch this short YouTube video. So there we have it. The city council cracked down on the Louisville Police Department, implementing body cameras and the banning of no-knock warrants, on top of several other implementations that were not covered in that short bit. One of those that was a big one was citizen review boards and community-focused policing strategies. So they moved from a proactive policing department to a community-focused policing department. The idea is that if we use the public's trust in us, we will be more effective in rooting out crime and stopping crime before it happens, because the community will assist us in preventing crime and stopping crime. Now, let's look at this era's stats to see how they did in terms of preventing homicide rates. So in this era, homicides reported by Louisville PD from 121 to 125 were 469 African Americans, 182 white Americans, 3 Asian Americans, and 2 unknown races. So, with the implementation of these new reforms, not only was there an increase in African American deaths, but there was also an increase in white Americans' deaths. So there's 153 additional African Americans killed in this time, with an additional 37 white Americans killed in this time. The increase in black victims is over 4 times in absolute terms. And African Americans continue to make up the majority of homicide victims, despite being a minority in Louisville. So the disparity not only still exists, but it exists larger than ever before, better before. The good news about these policies, though, that were implemented is that out of all the police shootings, there were 18 from 2017 to 2021, and 9 of the victims are black and 8 of the victims are white. In the post-Breonna Taylor era, from 2021 to 2024, there were only 9 fatal officer-involved shootings, and 2 of the victims are black and 5 of the victims are white. Now, this seems to be actually proportionate to Louisville's demographics. So the police administration is doing good in that regard. Now let's look at how those numbers line up. So as you can see, there were 9 officer-involved shootings in 2017 involving white victims, and there were 5 where there were black victims. And the white victims relatively stayed the same, and the black victims went down pretty significantly percentage-wise. Conclusion. So there were major leadership changes after 2020, after Breonna Taylor's death. The homicide levels increased for the black community. Not only that, but the disparity is actually grown. So it's not like white Americans in Louisville are also facing the same rate. The black Americans, African Americans are facing, their rate is growing exponentially compared to the white homicide rate in Louisville. So I would say that there's no clear immediate improvement in public safety in Louisville. And if the Louisville Police Department wants to change their policies so that the actual crime rate would go down. I believe that would be in their best interest for their jobs and also for the public safety of Louisville. I would suggest to the Louisville Police Department that they focus more on proactive policing. It seems that that was working at the time, and I think reaching out to community and building the community's trust and making sure there's accountability measures put in place for police officers is essential. But at the end of the day, police officer needs to do his job and they need to go out into the community, find the crime, and take out the people who are committing those crimes.